I'm going to be talking about how you shouldn't really express an opinion or a judgment about anything in particular. So basically, I'm going to start off this video by describing the different paradigms we have. So your paradigm is basically based on the identity you have, which is based on your conditioning of what you've been taught to believe. So whatever you think you are, it pretty much describes your view of the whole world. So if you're a little boy who's following his parents all the time, the world is probably a pretty big, mysterious place. But if you're the Pope or some worldly political leader or patriarchal figure, I don't know, the world might not seem so big. It might seem like something a bit more under your control and something you can navigate and actually get a grasp of. So that's basically your paradigm. It's based entirely on who you actually are and how you see yourself. So I can't actually remember what this video is going to be about now. Crap. But I'll keep going anyway. And your paradigm then actually kind of it forms your beliefs about yourself, and that the beliefs then form the behavior you have, and the behavior forms the thoughts, and the thoughts forms the actions. And I got that directly from a Charlie Morgan video. But anyway, I remember now the video was supposed to be about no judgment. So basically you operate from a particular point of view, and there is no way for you to understand anything on an objective level, not remotely. You can't see anything exactly as it is, because it's always going to have at least 1% or some percentage influence over how you see the thing. So basically you can never see things truly as they are, because you just are a person, and the only way you could see it objectively would be if you didn't exist at all, and that requires you to not have the ability to believe. So truth is an inherently a perfect ideal which cannot be reached ever, but the only thing we can do is get as close to it as possible. And I have this sort of belief, well, dwelling up within me now, that the closer you get to the truth, the slower you get to it, because you sort of just converge to it, but you never truly reach it. And the more you converge to it, the more exponentially painful it becomes. But that's kind of a story for another day. This video is about not having an opinion on things, not having a judgment on things. So basically, you have the truth and you have your subjective interpretation of it, which is never exactly right. So that means that when you express a view on something in particular, it's going to be wrong. Now, this isn't anything bad. It's not anything to worry about, because everything that pretty much everyone says is always wrong. But the point is, if there's two people in an argument, it's whoever is less wrong that wins the argument, basically, or whoever proves them or articulates themselves in a way that they come off as less wrong to any possible viewers of the argument or the people within the argument themselves. That's whoever wins the argument. So whoever is less wrong. So basically, you are always at least a slight bit wrong in whatever you say, and you have to make sure to just ensure that you're not that wrong, so that you can actually give this advice. So when you're giving advice, you're always giving it, you're always expressing a judgment on something or an opinion, or like giving something that you think to be true, but it's always going to be from the point of view of non-perfection. Like, you are not God. You cannot perfect whatever you say. You cannot perfect your advice. So it has to be, you have to sort of be frank about whenever you're giving advice that, hey, I'm not actually technically qualified to say this, and I'm kind of just giving it from my experience. You can prove me wrong. I like to be proven wrong, so if you can prove me wrong, that's great. We can talk about it again, because there are differing points of view, and that's the mark of a person who understands that their paradigm is always going to be inherently slightly wrong. But I have to wait for a bit because someone's outside. But basically, if you talk about expressing a judgment on something or commenting on something, you're commenting from the point of view of a person who is not fully inclined with that thing. It doesn't matter if you're commenting on a maths equation and you're a maths professor who's been studying the topic for 50 years. You are still going to be slightly wrong about it, because there's going to be other interpretations about it in the future. It's like if Einstein commented on the black hole theory, or I don't even know. I could be wrong. If Einstein commented on the discovery of calculus, then does that mean that he's completely right? No, it doesn't. But the thing is, it means that he's likely going to be more right than some random 17-year-old who's smoking and is also commenting on, oh, calculus is kind of just a stupid topic. It doesn't really make sense. You see, that person is commenting on a paradigm that's less informed and less experienced with the whole topic in general, whereas Einstein has actually been likely studying differentiation and integration in calculus and all that stuff for several years at that point. So he is more so in a position to talk about it than the 17-year-old would be. Therefore, he's going to be less wrong about it. And it doesn't mean he's going to be correct about it, because correctness, as I said already in this video multiple times, is an ideal we can never stand for. And I know this stuff may seem pretty obvious, but it's like when you get into a maths these maths proofs and these maths theories, you get into the actual reasoning behind why they work, and I'm giving you the actual reasoning why. And the reasoning is that your paradigm is from a slightly underdeveloped place compared to what it should be. So you need to absolutely make sure that you are like pretty informed on the topic. You don't need to be fully informed, but pretty informed. That's why people who, let's say, Stefan Arnio, this masculine figure who spread around a message of being good at being a man, and like kind of purging away weakness and saying that hard times create strong men and all of that. He said that, I kind of forget what I'm saying now. It just went out of my brain. I don't know why. What was it? I don't know, but basically, anyway, I'll come up with a story to talk about on his part. He would be commenting on the way actually were of like, I don't know, being a man, because he was like a man, and he was a pretty hardworking man, and he succeeded, and therefore he made sure before he started spreading advice about stuff that he had already done that stuff and succeeded. Now this is what I was going to talk about all about him, because I wanted to talk about something else, but it just went out of my head. I don't know, it was super annoying, but whatever, happened for a reason anyway, like everything does. And basically, when you're saying something, you need to be more informed than someone else. He would say a lot of stuff about masculinity because he'd been studying the thing for years indirectly by doing it himself, which would be more likely to actually yield an effective result than just some teenager who's talking on a YouTube video, possibly like this one right here. So I wouldn't be in a position to give advice like he would, but I have learned things from him which might speed up the process of my current knowledge. So yeah, that's really it. I don't have that much else to say on the topic. I do really wish I could remember what I was going to say about him. Alright, this video is going to drag out too long. I'll see you.